Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Friday edition of the Computer America Show. We're getting right into it, so sit back and relax as we begin our Friday edition of Computer America. Ten seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And, well, it's the end of the week already, you know. Where did it go? It was so fast. Yes, it's Friday! Yeah.
All right, it must just be you. It seemed like a week to me.
Yeah, it's another week of broadcasting excellence in the can, I guess they should say here, as we continue, as we sally forth into what it is that we call Computer America. Interesting show.
Sally.
Yes, I promise I wouldn't call you Sally. We have an interesting show tonight. In the second hour, we're going to have computer and technology news. Brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We've got some interesting stories lined up for you. Just quickly looking, here's one. MacBook user finds Windows 10 unequivocally faster than OS 10. Okay.
Yeah, there's a little slap in the face.
Yeah. Did you know that hacking into the United Airlines could net you 1 million award miles? That's pretty
Yeah, but you can only use them 3 days ago or sometime in the distant 20 years. So, blackout dates do occur.
And did you see that Google is getting ready to unleash robot cars on the world this summer? They look really cute. It looks a little Volkswagen-ish, but it looks cute.
Yeah, you never thought the Google invasion would look that adorable.
Yeah, no. So we've got lots of things going on, lots of interesting stories, and it's all coming up in the second hour of the show. We are going to have, because it is Friday, we're going to have our winner, a Computer America Winner of the Week. Yep. A really nice prize. We have that Logitech T650 wireless glass touchpad. Think of that. A very, very nice touchpad. About at $80. That's going to go to some lucky winner tonight. And again, to register for our contest, all you have to do is go to ComputerAmerica.com, and on the bottom of every page, it just says subscribe. Just put in your email address, click the subscribe button, and you're in on our weekly giveaway contest. It's just that simple. We really do make it easy. We have our other contests there, too. You can find them on our contest page. We have our Logitech contest going on. We're going to continue finding more ways to give away stuff on this show, okay, because we like giving away stuff to our listeners. Now, let me just say, if you have a comment or a question or a suggestion about anything we're doing on tonight's show, give us a call. Really, pick up the phone call. It's 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. It'll get you on and get you through. No more email, okay? But you can also join us in the live Computer America chat room from our homepage at ComputerAmerica.com. You'll just see the pull-down menu there. There's the home button, and then it says Show Lounge. You can go into the Show Lounge, and you can do it there. Or if you hover over Show Lounge, it'll say Full Chat Screen. A lot of people like to do that. I think it's actually cool to do the full chat screen, and you can see everything going on there as well, and just participate. Say hello. Come on, drop in. Say hi to everybody. Our first hour guest is in the chat room as well, and maybe you you can interact with him there. But again, we afford people some unique opportunities here on the program. We invite guests from large Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, small little companies. We usually have either the CEO of the company or one of the main tech guys from the company, and we afford you the opportunity to speak to these people. You probably would normally never have that chance, but here on Computer America, you have an opportunity to speak to these people, interact with them, ask questions, and we certainly afford you that opportunity. 347-884-8881. Again, if you're listening to us, you might not realize it, but you can also watch Computer America. Computer America now has live video streaming. It's right up there on our homepage at computeramerica.com, where it says just start the show. It'll take you right to the live video stream. It'll just start up automatically, and you can watch the show as well. You can see myself. You can see tonight's guests. You can see Ben. Ben's video is very informative now. He's got a lot of things going on there. He's got green screen action going on, scrolling banners. I mean, when we're talking about a website, you'll be able to see the website in the background. Ben has alternate views, so you can see all the action. It really makes...
If you'd like. If you'd like.
Yeah, if you like. It's there. He's there to show off what we're talking about. So that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to mention? Any good movies coming out this week, Ben?
This weekend isn't Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max, I think, premieres tonight. Yeah, I think.
I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's get started. Our first hour guest is from a company called Treeline. Now, according to them, Treeline makes it easy to build custom, high-performance apps. In other words, it's designed for building practical enterprise-grade backends in a matter of hours instead of months. Treeline helps you architect your backend as a set of small, reusable, and well-tested modules. Each machine has a single, clear purpose, whether it be sending an email, translating a text file, or fetching a web page. Now, here with us tonight is Michael McNeil. Mike is Treeline's co-founder and CEO. Mike, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Hi, Craig. Doing well. How are you doing?
Hi. Welcome to the program. So, Treeline, tell us a little bit about the company and what it is that you do, because we have a mix. We have people who are extremely well informed about backends, for instance, and programming, and people who just say, hey, I just want to learn how to surf the net. So we have all kinds of different. Obviously, Treeline is a lot more technical in this hour, but why don't you explain to our listeners what Treeline does?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually right at that intersection. So you have, on one hand, consuming of the internet, right, and of applications. So you'll want to maybe download the Facebook app and talk to your friends or browse, random websites on the internet, spend a bunch of time on Reddit. And then on the other side of it, someone's building those apps, right? And more these days, we keep seeing Shark Tank, and we hear about all of these, amazing stories of people who have built these great apps. And unfortunately, it's something that's been kind of cloaked in mystery for many years. And we really haven't seen, we see incremental improvements, but we haven't seen a real revolution in the way that people can access technology in over a decade. And so what Treeline is doing is making it easier for anyone to be on the other side of that coin, to be a producer of that kind of content, being able to build applications or websites themselves.
All right. Okay. So now, where did Treeline come from? I mean, how did it all come about?
Well, it kind of started out of a need that I had at a company called Balderdash, where we were building these mobile and website applications for all kinds of different customers. Big companies, little startups, and then small to medium-sized e-commerce sites. And our clients would ask us, hey, build us, a login page and a sign-up page. And hey, our users might want to sign up with Facebook, or they might want to be able to post pictures. And we started to realize that, man, every single one of these features starts to look pretty similar. Every single app has a login screen and a sign-up screen. And so it was kind of like, how can we zoom out here and connect the dots and make something that we can apply to each one of these apps instead of us just charging these people for the same thing over and over again.
All right. So, so basically, it was something that you felt that you could use, needed, and didn't, and you felt a lot of people, you could save people from doing a lot of work by making a lot of these things available, sort of like pre-canned. Would that be fair enough? In other words, these modules, sort of like Lego blocks. You have you have a Lego block that will do this, and you have a Lego block that, and then all they do is kind of fit the blocks together. This is not the first time that it's sort of like modular programming, isn't it? Where you have these modules or subroutines in modules that you kind of connect them together. This is not the first time that this has happened, but how is it, let's say, different with Treeline? What is it you're doing differently than that?
Well, let's say one of the biggest things is that we're coming at this from a really solid open source foundation. So for the last 3 years since we've been working at, building this framework called Sales.js, we've grown this really amazing community of people, of all kinds of developers, people that are just getting started with what we call back-end development, the cloud, right? And then there's people that are super deep in it and know all of the secrets of the best way to optimize an application or scale to millions of users. And they've been able to kind of help each other out and form this really cool community of people who are willing to build these Lego blocks, right? So the other kind of key thing is that anybody can build their own Legos, right? So instead of saying like, well, here's Mike's Legos, which, half of them may be useless to you or they may be slightly wrong in the first place overall, you can just go make your own Lego blocks if you want, and they'll still plug into the ecosystem.
Okay. All right. Now, you mentioned something called Sales.js. What is Sales.js?
So Sales.js, you kind of have to look back, back to 2004 when there was this thing called Ruby on Rails that was released, right? And Ruby on Rails was really revolutionary because before that you had all these kind of complicated configuration files that you had to string together to build, like a Java application or a .NET application. And Ruby on Rails really kind of transformed the way that, not just in Ruby, but everybody was building apps, because it made it like, why don't, instead of us kind of making this from scratch every time, why don't we just kind of follow some conventions, and you know what, I'll just assume that this is going to be a website, right? And you're not going to be building some kind of crazy back-end system that only one person in the world will ever use. So by setting those kind of common conventions, it really like sped up the time that it took to build something. So Sales.js is just like that, same idea, but for JavaScript, which is a language that a lot of developers already know how to use. So specifically, what we call front-end developers, so people who know how to make websites.
All right.
Yeah, and this question went completely over my head. Hopefully it doesn't go over yours. But this is asked in the chat room by John, and he wants to know why does Sales.js still rely on the 3.x branch of Express?
So I guess the quickest answer to that is just like, working pretty darn good to me, So it's you can always upgrade for the sake of upgrading, but in the case, I actually met with the guy who's maintaining Express named Doug, and we talked about it a little bit. And Express 3X is pretty solid. It's a good old boy. It takes care of business, and when the time comes, if there's a real serious thing that we realize is in 3.x, we'll make the upgrade.
Well, what is Express exactly? You mentioned JavaScript. You mentioned some things that I had not heard of the Express. So what is Express?
So Express, in case anybody listening is kind of familiar on the Ruby side of things, it's a lot like Sinatra in the Ruby community, but it's like that for JavaScript. So specifically, if you think about a server, right, like just floating around in the cloud, everybody might have a mobile app, and they might be punching away at it, and that app is sending requests to the cloud. That cloud server responds. So Express and then things like Express and Sinatra are really good at handling that, what we call routing, right? When you first send that request and say, hey, I want to log in, and the server says, okay, you can log in. Now, Sales.js and Ruby on Rails, they go a little bit further, and they say, okay, so logging in, we're going to actually go ahead and control the way you talk to your database too. We're going to kind of be the whole solution, whereas Express and Sinatra are more of like a lighter weight tool, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, so,
Oh, and by the way, you're mentioning a lot of different languages here, and I was just kind of wondering, everything you mentioned, is that like, are you adapting other languages, and kind of putting them all in this one, I don't want to say closed system, but in this one package, so people know how to use it. Like, if they learn how to use Treeline, can they take those skills elsewhere and kind of say, okay, I have some experience in coding, or is all of this just so much, just for Treeline that it's only applicable to Treeline?
So, I mean, some of the words we use, we've simplified a little bit just to keep things approachable. But other than some of the terminology, the actual concepts are just straight up the same as what you would do in code. And it's really designed to be a higher level kind of abstraction. It's a higher level way of thinking about it, right? And we want to move towards a world where instead of every time you want to make a piece of toast, you have to build your own toaster. I want you to just be able to push down on that little switch and put your toast in there. And this is our way of doing that by zooming out a little bit and hiding the details, but focusing on those concepts still.
okay. All right. We got a lot of people, evidently, in the chat room who have questions for you. And hopefully that answered Theory's question.
No. Actually, Theories was something about loop back versus sales.
All right, John's question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Theory has a question for you in the chat room. He wants to know what your opinion is, Mike, on loopback versus sales.
So loopback's another framework that came along a couple years after Sales.js, and it's I haven't actually tried it myself, but I mean it's kind of like asking the guy, the CEO of Ford, what he thinks of Chevys, right? So,
is it that? Okay.
I mean, just kind of, I'm messing around a little bit. It's when in the open source world, it's kind of no hard feelings. Everybody's kind of on the same page. No one's making any money on the free software, anyways, right?
Well, as loopback and sales are competitive in nature? In other words, they compete with each other. They're basically doing the same thing.
I would say that's pretty accurate. I mean, they have their own little like eccentricities, right? They do, but yeah, more or less covering the same ground.
Okay. Is one better for a particular app than another, or are they both really? Is there any particular reason one would use another one in any situation?
I'm embarrassed to say I'm a little uneducated when it comes to loopback, honestly. But I think that a lot of what loopback's targeting is people who are already kind of they're coming from a more enterprise background, maybe, right? And they are looking to make the transition to Node.js from there. Whereas I would say that Sales.js, at least, look at my own background, we're more, from the beginning, have been focused on bringing kind of HTML and CSS developers or PHP developers, WordPress developers, those kind of folks over. But we're all just we're all inclusive, and just I think whatever fits your needs best after you play with it, that's the right choice.
That's okay.
So what you're saying is Sales.js has more beautiful developers than loopback. I hear you.
I think I'm hearing you say that PHP developers are more beautiful than enterprise developers, and I'm not gonna argue.
Well, they never see the sun, so their tan is just awful. But you mentioned there about apps, and we kind of skipped over this one. You said that you used to work for a site called Balderdash. What exactly were people looking for in terms of apps? Because the term app, obviously, very, very broad. It can be a game, it can be some kind of social network, it can be anything that you use on the internet. So what were you seeing that you were kind of what were you seeing that you kind of said, okay, you mentioned a login page and a sign up page. What were people looking for?
That's a great question, because it absolutely, it was like, other than just features, even just the apps themselves. And it comes in like little trends, right? So I remember right back in late 2012, there was this announcement that the FCC was going to, or not, I forget, I don't even remember which regulating body it was, whoever looks after the money, they were going to kind of lift the regulations on who could have, basically on how you could announce that you were raising money. And so there was a bunch of interest in making Kickstarter sites, but for, every kind of company, and actually where you can get a piece of the company. So those, I think I talked to like 3 people in November of 2012 about basically building the same kind of app there. And so, but even, you piece that apart, what's inside. All right, well, you got to be able to log in. Everyone always forgets you got to be able to reset your password, right? And that means you got to send an email, right? And go do the kind of loop where you put in your email address, it sends you this email that you can click the link, takes you to a forgot your password page, you choose a new password, sign up. A lot of times being able to upload a photo for your avatar, or sometimes use a gravatar, maybe link with your Twitter account, link with your Facebook account. And then the insides of the app, really, like once you did all that stuff, you're like 80% done, right? It's the insides, the part that changes.
Well, he apologized in the chat room. He says that the reason he's curious is because Loopback is built on top of Express by Express developers, so it's interesting to see 2 similar applications grow. So
I could maybe just to clarify there, and in fairness to the Express team, basically what happened is that Loopback ended up buying the Express brand. So Strongly bought the Express brand. They're doing a great job taking it over. That's exactly what Express needed, was an injection of like love, but just to clarify, a guy named TJ Holloway-Chuck wrote Express, and he's now somewhere in the depths of Canada, going on with his life. But it's been Express has been there since day one in the Node community. So back when Isaacs and Ryan and actually TJ were kind of hanging out in the IRC channel, that was the origin of Express.
All right, got it. Okay, well, there. Hopefully that will validate some of the reasons why you're doing that. By the way, it looks good now, Ben. All right, because I just in the chat room, it goes, oh.
How dare you hit on me, Craig? This is supposed to be a safe work environment. How dare you? How dare you, sir?
Okay. So now you mentioned building apps for other people when you were back at Balderdash.
Well, that's what we just covered. But kind of getting what you sound, it makes sense. You don't want to rewrite the same code the whole time, so why not? That's the whole thing about programming. You have chunks of code that you can kind of plug in, and at a certain point, you save yourself a lot of time if you can just kind of, just like Legos, piece these together. But it sounded like, though, you have a pretty good community, that it's not just you writing all the Lego blocks. It sounds like you have a pretty good community that is creating their own and then sharing their own blocks.
Exactly. That's kind of been the relieving part, right? Because once the kind of dirty little secret no one ever talks about with open source is you get all these developers building these cool modules for your platform, whatever that is. And someone will build something to like, okay, now you can talk to Uber, right, and call an Uber via your app, and now you can like talk to Twitter and post tweets and stuff. But all of those little things end up being done slightly differently. So that was kind of, by standardizing that, we've sort of let people just go to town, right? Whereas before I was kind of like, okay, whoa. Now this Uber thing looks a lot different than the Lyft thing. We got to standardize this so that whenever anybody wants to call a car, it's like at the car standard. So now we just said, you know what, forget it. There's going to be a standard for any kind of verb you want to do, whatever that is. You know, buy milk from the store, I don't care. As long as it's a verb, you can follow these rules. And so you can think of it as kind of, Legos have those little circles where they can plug into each other.
Sure.
It would be a lot harder to build Legos if they didn't all have those little circles.
To keep the Lego analogy, though, there's these other companies that are coming out with blocks that are compatible with Legos, but even though they aren't Legos, and they allow you to do different things that you couldn't really do with Legos. But I don't know how far can we stretch that analogy, but I mean, do you?
Well, just like Legos, those knockoff blocks 9 times out of 10 don't work. So they may save you a little money and a little bit of time, but they don't really work as well as the original.
Okay, well, obviously the modules that you're creating with Treeline are all designed to work together. But as you said, you don't have to go with the particular modules that you've designed. You can modify the modules because it's all open source. Am I correct in understanding that?
Exactly. So all these little pieces are basically just like the code you would write in your own app. It's just that you kind of, instead of maybe documenting it by hand, you kind of bang on a little bit of a wrapper around the function, right? Around the thing that actually does the work. And that has stuff like a description, and you can put what we call a friendly name, right? You can put the inputs and the exits. And so what you're saying is, okay, so just to step back to the milk thing, just because that's an easy thing to think about, like drive to store and buy milk, right? That's a action that you can put in a program, right? And it has inputs. It has like maybe how much money is in your wallet, and it has an exit, which is the one we always think about is that it worked. But there's another exit where what? Actually, I left my wallet at home. And then there's another exit where I got in a car wreck on the way to the store. And historically in programming, that's been the part where we've really failed as developers, is like remembering to worry about those edge cases. So a lot of times, like, it'll start to snowball. So I'll forget my wallet, and then I'll get in a car wreck. But because I never even made it to the store, the car wreck is where was I even, right? And so it just starts to not make sense.
Exactly. Okay, can you give us an example of how someone is using what Treeline produces or makes available to them, and kind of give us like a real-world example of how it's being used?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we're still in a very early stage with launching the actual visual tool, right? So, Sales.js has been around for a good long while, and it's still the underlying tech here. So people have used it, to build $100 million toll booth projects in Asia. They've used it to build there a number of Fortune 500 companies, which I can't name in the U.S., have used it for telecom needs. It's used for all sorts of small apps. Now, Treeline itself is just a way to build those Sales.js apps, right? So, for example, what it does, though, is lower that barrier to entry so that you don't have to necessarily feel quite as confident that the code you whip up in one afternoon is ready for that $100 million toll booth project.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, my girlfriend, Rachel, actually, who, initially when we first kind of met, she was doing bookkeeping. And then she taught herself HTML. She taught herself how to make web pages and make them look good with CSS. She taught herself how to use some JavaScript on the front end, right? How to kind of wire up the house, so to speak. And now she's able to use Treeline, and she actually, first thing she did was build a contact form for a website for a theater company that she used to be a part of, and she was able to do that in 30 seconds without having to think about how it works.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So I guess basically you say it's been around for a long time. I guess basically, how is Treeline making or going to, or do you plan to monetize this? How are you going to make money for this with this company?
Doing all of this and only requesting an 80% of the profits received by using this. That's amazing.
Especially that $150 million project you just made, that would work really nice. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I wish that was how it worked. I mean, yeah, it's open source is a tricky thing because you end up, on one hand, it's the only way that we can really trust that the stuff we're using is gonna be there tomorrow, right? That's why everyone likes WordPress so much. You can make your website, and at the very end of it, if you need to go in and change something, you can, and it's not a big deal. So it's important, and it's also really hard to monetize because you have to start doing training or certifications or support, and that's all great and good. But man, I ground on that for like 3 years, and it's hard, and it really takes a lot of your focus, and it demands a lot of the kind of business skills that certain technical people, not naming any names, but basically myself, don't necessarily have. And I would say we optimize Balderdash around how can we build great apps, how can we build a great business, but really do as little business as possible and really focus on coding and doing what we do best. And so with Treeline, it was really about like how can we kind of follow the same logic. Like we know how to make great tools that help people out and kind of enable a broader class of people to be able to build apps. So our idea is basically, public apps, open source apps are free, and
Right.
anybody can do that. But it's
Well,
like
okay.
GitHub.
Mike, I'll tell you what, we're at the bottom of the hour, and we're going to take a break, and then I'll ask you to continue on with that, okay? So hold that thought. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network. We are talking to Treeline, and Mike McNeil, the CEO, is here with us. We'll be right back with him. Stay with us.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Did you bring me a cookie? This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time the Antec HCP 1000 Platinum PSU. PSU stands for Power Supply Unit, that big blocky thing with all the wires near the bottom of your computer. And we're building a new system, and it's tough to calculate its total power need once we populate all the high-end slot cards, 64 gig of DDR4, a hot Intel CPU, an 8-drive array plus 2 other drives, and a dual-pump liquid cooler. We have a few 850 VA power supplies on hand that could probably handle everything, but instead, we had Antec send a new 1000 VA HCP 1000 Platinum for review. It's fully modular, meaning there are no cables coming out of the box until you put them there. And it's the first time we can remember that we had enough cables and enough connections to feed everything in the system out of the box. No adapters or cheating. The connectors are black, not white, for what Antec calls a stealth installation. The fan is under thermal control, so it stays quiet when the load isn't too high, which is another reason we like to overspec our PSUs. Bottom line, the Antec HCP 1000 Platinum PSU is powerfully nice. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Here we are continuing on our conversation with Mike. He is the CEO and co-founder of Treeline and the creator of Sales.js that we're talking about right now. But we were just getting into how Treeline is going to be a successful business because free and open source is great, but at the end of the day, I mean, you have to pay the bill somehow. So you were just getting into how it sounded like you said a lot of the parts of Treeline are free, but then
Yeah.
yeah, but
Right.
yeah.
So it's basically free for open source stuff. So let's say you wanted to build your own, Snapchat, or better yet, Facebook. You wanted to build your own Facebook, right? And you went and you built it, and you did this really cool front end, and it was awesome. And then you built this back end, right? And the back end, as we were talking about before, it's not that different between different apps, but it's still got your business logic. It's got the DNA for your server inside of it. And if it's open source, it may not be in your best business interest, because you might want to make it, proprietary. You might want to make it so someone else can't copy it and make their own slightly different version of Facebook, right, for their own uses.
Mhm.
So if you want that, right, that probably means you're doing business, which means you can afford to pay little old Mike a little something so that he can get some breakfast. But that said, my plan is to make it something that I could have afforded in college. And there will be, more flexible enterprise options to do stuff like inject specific license headers, or be able to control exactly what kind of Legos you can pop into your app. But the basic thing, being able to have private apps, that's something that I think everyone should be able to do.
All right. So you mentioned you're still in beta here at this point. Have you started sending out beta invitations to this at this point, and if so, how much time before you finally say, okay, we're going to release this to the public?
So I would say it's really based on what kind of feedback we're getting from, one, from the community, but then also even on our team. So like, we're in the process of building Treeline in Treeline. Right, and like any good compiler, right? Because, by the way, this thing just spits out code. It's not like it's your app is captured in a Treeline's evil dark web forever. It's like, this is just spitting out code for you. It's just like you wrote it yourself. In fact, we specifically designed it that way just in case we ever needed to pretend that we had written it ourselves, right? So it's really spitting out this code. It's that part of it you can always kind of walk away with. Which also means that we can run Treeline on Treeline, right? So we're about halfway through rebuilding Treeline with itself. This is what Solomon did with GCC. It's what any good kind of compiler author will do, because it proves that, hey, look, I'm willing to go on a limb and commit to this working. So as far as betas, we've sent out a good, I would say, 50% of the people that have signed up have gotten in, and we're letting more in every day. It's just been kind of slow because we don't want to overwhelm our preview servers all at once with people getting into the system.
All right. They'll think it's a denial of service attack or something. They're coming in. Okay, so is this always going to be free? I mean, are your betas is going to be free? Obviously, usually betas are. But when you finally bring this public, is it going to be sort of a charge to use it, or how are you going to handle that?
Well, yeah, so it's only going to be if you want your, what we call a machine pack, which is just like a package of these things called machines of the Legos, right? If you want that to be private and you want it to be something that other people can't see and discover, then you'll need to pay. If you're cool with it being open source, then you know what? More power to you. You'll be free for you until the end of time. And as much as stuff that you want to make open source, you can have a million different apps that are all open source, and that's totally fine. Don't do that, though. No one do that.
Well, there's another question in the chat room. He wants to know if you use Treeline for Enterprise, but don't mind if people steal the code, is it still free?
It is. So I mean, the thing about the enterprise use case, right, is let's say that Craig, you and I are working at Big Corp, right, and we have to.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah, it's got like 1 million employees, and everyone there is obsessed with this this big project that we're working on that's gonna revolutionize the company, and we're gonna go into Google self-driving cars, and we're gonna add a camera so that you can watch every single self-driving car live in real time. Let's say, right? So this is cool, and you can go and you can build that entire huge project for free in Treeline and have it be open source. And you can even take the code and then just delete your Treeline account, right? But the thing is, even while you were doing that, the higher the notoriety of your project, the more likely it is that someone's going to be watching it closely. And it's kind of, no company that's that big is going to be okay with all of their software being out in the open. Their legal department would never, like, trust me, their legal department would never even get close to that.
Okay. So let's turn to you for a little bit of advice here. Let's say a young developer is thinking about building some apps, and what advice would you give them?
I would say, so, a young developer, young designer, I'm kind of thinking of myself, I guess, even really 5 years ago. Like, I got started, for money, like in development, doing contract web work, for like $12 an hour. And I was doing, for like a research lab, and I just made a web page in HTML, and I put a paint job on it with some CSS. Mm-hmm. And I kind of started down that road. I got to the point that everyone gets to where I was like, okay, I need to basically be able to change this content. And I was young and stupid, and I didn't think to use something like WordPress, right? And so I ended up building this custom CMS. But I guess, like, that whole road I went down, right, it was like I could have just, if I didn't have to, what I was really passionate about was the front end side of it. And I had always been, like, doing game development ever since I was a kid. And I never thought about that as being something where I could make money, or just development in general. I thought it was just like a hobby that I kept secret from my friends so I didn't seem nerdy all the time, right? And so, like, when you get to that point where you are finding yourself building this interactive thing because you love it, and it's a form of art to you, you should follow that and stick to it, because there are people out there in the world who are willing to pay you buckets of money for that for some reason. And maybe it's just a golden era we're in right now, but I think that the way the world's going is that kind of interactive development is going to be increasingly important in this kind of digital economy. And I think the more of us that can participate in it, the better it's going to be for all of our job security in the future.
Yeah, it seems like people out there, like, everyone wants a web page. Every business is going to want multiple web pages. They're going to want their own app. They're going to want this. They're going to want that. Like, everyone is starting to need all these services, but no one wants to be just another app in the bunch. They don't want to be just another web page. Like, they all want to be unique. So, you can go to one company that can pump out a website that looks just like 800 of their other clients, but if you can find that one person that will work with you and customize it to the way you want it to really stand out, that's not something a giant company can provide. That's a person. So I guess a developer can really make a name for themselves and really build a portfolio by helping people get what they want, because big companies really aren't set up to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And even to taking that point further, right? Like, if you think about even when it's maybe it's a startup entrepreneur, or maybe it's a small business owner, and imagine 19-year-old Mike, just in my rock band, working at Starbucks, doing a little web dev on the side, hanging out, and then they come and say, like, here's all these business requirements, and they're only halfway thought through. The person who's going to connect the dots and, like, finish those requirements is crazy 19-year-old Starbucks Mike, and that's probably not always the guy you want making your decisions. But the fact that it's working like this right now is pretty neat, right? I mean, like, you're able to make these crazy important decisions for this business that you don't even really know anything about, but they're just going to you because you're the technical guy or gal, right? Yeah. So I think it's pretty neat.
Or the CEO, exactly. We're finding today more and more CEOs are the technical guys. They're the ones that started the companies, and not all the time. I mean, we innovate many interviews, but I got to tell you, the trend seems to be more that the CEOs are the guys that are actually doing this stuff, as opposed to.
Well, it seems to be a quick climb from tech startup to CEO, and usually the startup guys are also the CEOs, but they're also the ones, building it all from scratch.
Someone in the chat room suggested that we should do our website with using Treeline, and I just said, Aaron, our webmeister,
Oh, by the way, this would be a good time to announce. This last Monday was the first day of our brand new website, so welcome to it. I hope you all like the redo. It's 1 week old, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Aaron fainted because he's working so hard. He hasn't responded since. So, but yeah, it is our brand new website. It's like our fourth generation, and it just went live this Monday, a few days ago. So, um, now obviously we're using WordPress to design it. Would there be? Could we even? Is there any way to interface Treeline into website development like what were you doing, or is that even possible?
Totally. It would be a weird step at the beginning just because no one's done it yet. But there's kind of that there's always that first hump when you get over that. But basically, right now you can spit out code that you can just run from anywhere. So PHP can just spin up a process that runs the node script. So if you want to be able to do something like with WordPress, one of the biggest problems with WordPress, in my opinion, is that there is this rich plugin ecosystem, but it's just like this herd of multicolored cats running in every direction, and you can grab one by the tail, and then it's kind of like, great, this one looks awesome, but then you try to find another cat that looks like it. It's going to take you like 3 weeks. So I think with WordPress, it's like you have to pick the best plugins you can, and it'll save you a lot of time. When you want to start customizing it further, that's when something like Treeline will be a lot more helpful.
So when you customize that, because you can embed HTML code directly into it, I mean, or CS, you can work with that. You're using modules that they have, but there are a lot of companies out there that allow you to do that. Before that we were with Wix and the web development services. But if you can do that, you should be able to plug in, because Treeline, bottom line is what is it? The modules, are they HTML code themselves? What are they?
The modules are so if you think about programming, right, in general, as sort of a way of, it's sort of like planning, right? And what you're doing is, when you think of lines of code, it's an action. So you're stringing together these little micro actions,
right,
into a big plan. And each one of those actions, those verbs, as I like to call them, that's what a machine is. So a machine is a lot like a programming function. So we have a machine called add, for instance, and there's another one called subtract. And then you can zoom way out, and there's a machine called get cloud score. And inside of get cloud score, it's using the send HTTP request machine and the parse JSON machine, right? Which those two machines together make the get cloud score, if you configure them just right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it's a fractal pattern, and you can go as high level as you want, or you can zoom in all the way until you get to like the very base, which is the math, or like the logic.
Well, look, let's face it. I mean, computers today are pretty much like appliances. You can use a computer as an appliance and never have to worry about how it works. You don't need to know anything about programming to productively use a computer today, in this day and age that we're in. It's like you don't have to be a mechanic to drive a car. I mean, obviously, the more you know about it, if your car breaks down, you can call AAA, or you can pop the hood and go under it yourself. It all depends, what you want to do, what you find attractive.
But at the same time, do you want to be that guy shelling out, $50 to $80 for an oil change, or hey, you can go and change your own oil for a fraction of the cost.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Again, a lot of interesting comments in the chat room, but basically, now we only have a couple minutes left here. I noticed you kept mentioning Node.js, and is that different than Sales.js? I would assume that it is. What's the difference?
So Node.js is like PHP,
okay,
or kind of like Ruby or something, right? So it's like a server language. If you think of the server as like a Frenchman, then PHP is like, PHP server speaks French, let's say, And then Node, it just happens to speak like English, which a lot of people, on the front end speak. And really, like Google Chrome and Firefox and Internet Explorer and Safari have done all this work to standardize JavaScript. And granted, you don't have to like it. I mean, sometimes I hate it a little bit. It can be, I go through rough days with JavaScript. But it's just like with English, right? It's this kind of annoying language that we all know, but hey, it works, right? And we can communicate with a lot of people in the world that way. So I think that's the promise of JavaScript in general. No pun intended.
Oh, well, exactly. I've never had a fondness for Java or JavaScript, although I realize they're two different animals. But and some people tend to use them interchangeably. But I just notice a lot of times when I use things like that, my computer tends to crash a lot.
Yeah, there was a period of time where you could just never trust pretty much anything on the internet. It was like every site you would go to would somehow bring. I think it was right in that transition between Netscape and Firefox. Which, hey, by the way, if to your listeners that may not, I didn't even realize this until a few years ago that Netscape is actually where Firefox came from.
Yeah,
I think for a lot of younger people.
Mozilla. Yeah, it's Mozilla. They didn't realize that that's all where it came from. Exactly. We actually had the creator of Firefox on the show here a while back, talking about.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, hey, listen. After 24 years, you get just about everybody on the on the show. But and as a matter of fact, we just announced it again. They keep updating Firefox. They just had an update last night. As a matter of fact, they had an update the day before, and then they updated the update. So 38.1. So I just turned on the thing just to update automatically, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And then I just discover new things. I think that's where we're headed for that. By the way, software obviously updating itself, and you're not even aware of it anymore, except when you see something new and you go, "Oh, I didn't know it could do that." Well, there it is. So
That's how the computers are going to take over. They're going to push their, the kill all humans update out, and that's it. Yeah, everything's just going to automatically update to destroy all humans.
I'm just calling my computer Skynet now, and that's it. Exactly. Well, Mike, if people want more information about Treeline, I guess they can go to your website. What should they do if they want to sign up for the beta? What do they do?
So the first thing you do is go to treeline.io and type in your email address there, or use your GitHub account and sign up that way. And then it'll put you on our waiting list. And then if you are in the Computer America chat, if you put in your email address or some other way for me to get in touch with you, I'll make sure that you get in right now, next 5 minutes. Otherwise, just tweet us on Twitter to remind us, and we tend to prioritize those just because it's like a What's the idiom that I'm forgetting right now about? Is it the loud bird that gets fed or something like that? We got some Southern people in here.
The noisy wheel gets the grease. That.
Beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Theory is in the chat room is having a party.
Yeah, and sorry if I make you repeat yourself, but when are you hoping that this comes out of beta and becomes live for everyone?
So this isn't going to be the most satisfying answer, but it's when we build Treeline and Treeline. So when Treeline's built on itself, right, then I feel confident. And this is what I've always done with Sales.js too. It's like I can't tell anyone else with technical honesty, right, and with a sense of confidence that, hey, this is safe to use until I'm fully my entire livelihood's riding on it myself, and then I'll let you ride your livelihood on it.
Again, the website is treeline.io, and or you can go to computeramerica.com, and we have the link there as well, and it'll always be in our archives, so you can look it up later on if you want to, or if you're just watching this time shifted, you can get everything there as well. Mike, before we say goodnight, anything else you want to let our listeners know about Treeline, or any words of wisdom? We always offer our guests an opportunity to speak on that.
Well, I don't know if I'm wise enough for it, but I'll give it a shot. So I would say to those of you out there that maybe you haven't done any programming at all, if you're interested in doing that, it's not that hard. it's okay. It takes a lot of work to understand kind of the basics, but man, it is a great thing. It's extremely fun. It made me drop a lot of things that I used to really, really spend a lot of time doing, which sounds like a drug addiction or something, but no, let me tell you, it's great. Everyone should do it. And the best place to start with an online training course like Platzi, or something like Udemy or lynda.com. That's the one I used back in the day. And learn HTML, learn CSS. Look at Treeline for basically your introduction to how the backend works, and go from there. And good luck.
All right, good. Well, Mike, want to thank you for being here on the show with us tonight. Obviously, a lot of enthusiastic participants in the chat room. Oh, here's a new one. Just said, says, Mike, you are awesome. Sales and Treeline saved my life.
And if you ever find yourself in proximity to this person, they'd like to take you out for a drink.
Yeah, he says, can I buy you a beer?
Hey.
Serious, dude. You are like a god for me. Oh, my gosh.
Anytime with the beer, absolutely.
Well, you certainly have a lot of fan base in the chat room.
Means you're doing something right, so I guess keep doing that.
Yeah, we should bring it back. Why don't you stay in the chat room a little while after we say goodnight and kind of talk to some of obviously you have some people who really like what you're doing. So why don't you stick around a little bit in the chat room, okay?
We'll do. We'll get everybody into the beta.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
Perfect. And also, just want to say this now on the air. Whenever Treeline is officially running on Treeline, shoot us an email or we'll shoot you an email, and we definitely want you back on to see where things are.
Awesome. I'll be extremely excited about it. So more than happy to.
All right, Mike. Listen, thanks again for being here with us on Computer America.
It was awesome talking to you guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. All right, there he goes. Again, Mike McNeil, Treeline's co-founder and CEO.
And just to expand a little bit on that idea of where to start with coding, turns out that a lot of people who code are also on the internet, and one of the best ways that they can kind of use their code is to teach other people to code. He mentioned one himself. I've tried Bento and Code Academy. There are lots of interactive websites and databases and whatnot that will show you how to code. So something it's kind of like needing to learn German, but everyone already speaks German on the internet. So there's a lot of good resources out there, and Treeline definitely one I'm going to add to my canned responses. But definitely coding is worth learning, and it's never been easier.
There you go. All right, and as I mentioned, Mike is going to stay in the chat room for a while longer and talk to a lot of his fans. A lot of his fans are in there. People who use Treeline and certainly, he's inviting him to a drink. The gentleman the person who invited Mike for a drink evidently is in Brazil. So
that's a bit of a schlep.
Especially for a beer. But, maybe they can sweeten
maybe a really good beer.
Yeah, really good beer. Exactly. Again, thanks, Mike, for being here on the Computer America show. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to have our Computer America Winner of the Week. I'm christening it that for now. The Computer America Winner of the Week, where we give away that Logitech wireless glass touchpad, the T650 model, about $80. We'll be giving that away. Again, if you want an opportunity to win all these things, prizes, just register. Go to computeramerica.com, and the bottom, literally, of any page that you're on our website, not some other website, but on our website, obviously, you'll see there's a little thing that says subscribe. It's so on the left bottom portion of every page, virtually every page, just put your email address and hit the subscribe button, and you're in. It's just that quick. And then from that list of subscriber names, we draw a winning name to win a really nice weekly prize from our good friends over at Logitech. Currently now, again, it's a Logitech a wireless touchpad, glass touchpad.
Wireless glass touchpad, very, very slick looking.
Slick looking. Yes, it is. And it supports all the gestures. So if you're using the Windows gestures, it
Not the
supports
one you're thinking of, but all the interface gestures it knows.
exactly. It will
It is
work.
not going to make your computer understand how frustrated you are with it.
Hopefully not. Okay, so we've got the computer and technology news coming up in the second hour. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Marty is going to going to have our show our news tips bulletin.
News tip bulletin review.
It's the last one of the week. Last time we'll be hearing it. We'll have 2 new ones coming up in next week. We'll take a short break, and then we'll continue on with Computer America. Don't go anywhere.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
I couldn't, I blocked that. I couldn't think of Marty's last name, Marty Winston.
Marty Winston.
I was going Marty Lawrence.
Marty Winston Churchill. That's how I remember it.
Marty Winston Churchill. Yeah, that's a good one. Marty Winston Churchill. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Anyway, again, if you missed the first hour of the show, our first hour guest is Mike McNeil is hanging out in the Computer America chat room. So
and the groupies are all over him like flies to honey.
They are all over him. What is up with that? You know, gee, I mean, it's like he's being worshipped. It's like the next computer god. This is good. I mean, he's got a lot of people are very much into what he's doing.
Yeah, and you know, maybe this is how Bill Gates started out.
Yeah.
Before he made his $58 billion.
Yeah, it could be. And we're very glad that we're able to bring him to you, here on the show. So I'm very glad that he's getting such an enthusiastic response, and we're glad that you're enthusiastic about it as well. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is the second hour of the show. Probably at the bottom of the hour, we'll have our Computer America winner of the week with that really nice prize from Logitech. Speaking of which, also don't forget that our regular contest, we have a number of contests going on under the Interact pull-down menu. You'll see our Logitech contest where we're giving away 3 great prizes from Logitech: their webcam, this is the webcam, the gaming mouse, and the X300 Bluetooth wireless speaker. So, which is about at $70. So, we have 3 great prizes. The contest finishes at the end of this month at midnight, Friday Eastern time. You have till then to get your entries in. Again, the entry form is right up on the Logitech contest page, so it's really easy to enter. You just put in your full name. It asks for your street address, city, state, zip, email, phone number, and comments if you like, and submit it, and that's it. Again, let me just let you know that all of the information that we get for our contests, when we're done with it, we throw it out. We don't use any of this. Your privacy is kept complete. We don't give your contact information out to anyone here at Computer America. We don't. The only reason the only time that we give out your contact info is if you win something. Then we'll give that info to Logitech so they in turn can physically mail you your prize. That's it. And after that, we start out all over again. So it's completely confidential, completely private. So there you go. That's all of our contests at ComputerAmerica.com. And while you're at our new website, check out all of the fun stuff that we have there. We have our sponsors are up there. places that you can hear the
We're
show.
still working on the Computer America mini games, but hopefully they'll be up and running before long. It's a
Yes.
lot like Bejeweled and Bubble and Balloon Popper, but with just the same color balloons and jewels, all that say Computer America. So
Just to
we are nothing if not self-branding.
Yes, we are. We have our syndication places that you can hear the show. We have our news, a blog. We have our guest calendar is up and running. So if you want to see who's coming on the show the next day, the next week, the next month, all of our guests are listed in the guest calendar now. You can see it. We have past guest lists, so you can see who's been on the show before, and that's broken down into Q1 of 2015 and Q2 of 2015. Show archives is there. We also have our top tech awards are listed under.
There's stuff. You should go check it out.
Yeah.
But
lots of stuff. But yes.
no, just second hour, and without babbling too long, I think we should get to some news. We have a lot of really, really great stories.
Okay, well, let's do some news then. All right. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at slimwareutilities.com, completely free. Their backup products, the rec image, all that is completely free. Check it out, slimwareutilities.com. Download them all. We use them here at the Crossman household. Get them all. Why not? They're all free. They're not freemium. You know, they don't charge you later on. It's completely free. Full implementation. You'll be happy that you downloaded them, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. And in the first story of the evening from Maximum PC, MacBook user finds Windows 10 unequivocally faster than OS 10. Look at that. According to him, it's bragging rights.
I like how it's user, as in one person, but still.
Yeah. Well, you know, Paul Lilly, who wrote this article, said comparing Microsoft Windows 10 operating system to Apple's OS 10 falls into the apples and oranges category, right? He says, though, you could make that argument, though, in terms of speed and performance, one only need to install Windows 10 on a MacBook using Boot Camp, which you can't do anymore, by the way. So I'm not sure what's going on with there.
You can't install Windows 10?
Members
on Boot Camp?
Boot Camp is going to stop supporting.
I thought Boot Camp was going to stop supporting Windows 7, like the older iterations of Windows, but Windows 10 will still be usable.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I stand corrected. You're right. Boot Camp will stop supporting earlier iterations of Windows.
It will stop supporting, I believe it still supports 8.1, but it won't support Windows 7, which was the big hubbub.
Okay. It will, and of course, it'll probably support Windows 10, of course. Although you can run things like Parallels. Parallels certainly will allow you to run Windows 10, but concurrently with OS 10. See, with Boot Camp, you still have to reboot everything. You can only run one or the other, whereas with Parallels, you can run both operating systems at the same time, side by side. Even not only that, they have what's it, centricity?
Concierge.
No. That allows you to
Consumer.
run both operating systems.
Containment. What word are we looking for?
Transparently, so that you don't even know which operating system you're in, and it's concurrent.
Oh, concurrent. Okay, there we go.
Exactly. So it allows it to run them without even knowing about what operating system it is. So it's a very cool product, and we've had them on the show, but we'll have them back. But anyway, a student, a computer science student at Tufts University, made this conclusion that Windows 10 is faster than OS 10. Okay, and I'm not sure where all the hubbub comes or the flap about this, but he
said here in his blog post, the student posted that here's the kicker: it's fast, it's smooth, it renders at 60 frames per second unless you have a lot going on. It is unequivocally better than performance on OS 10. Further, leading me to believe that Apple really needs to overhaul how animations are done. Even when I turn transparency off with OS 10, mission control isn't completely smooth. Here, even after some aero glass transparency has been added, everything is still smooth. It's remarkable, and it makes me believe the 12-inch MacBook more than ever before.
Well, there you go. So,
I guess what he's saying is OS 10 and Windows 10. He's not really saying that one is better than the other. He's saying that it's faster, as in from a step back and look at it from a, I don't say like scientific, but from a technical standpoint.
Mhm.
I guess they've done a lot of overhauling with how Windows 10 is rendered and some of the actions are performed. And it makes sense because Windows was long hailed as this giant behemoth of unusable code with over 1 million lines of code, and it was just so slow and old and huge and big. But I guess in Windows 10 they've solved that, leaving OS 10, the Mac version, I'm sorry, the Mac OS, feeling a little dated now compared to Windows 10.
Um, incidentally, he also, this student said that he had good things to say about Edge, Microsoft Edge, but which I just learned last night was the formal name for Project Spartan, which is Microsoft's new browser, Edge. He says while he noted it was still rough around the edges, he still came away with the impression that it's an absolute champion at this early stage. Okay. Now, he says maybe it's ironic that in some regards the new MacBook runs Windows 10 better than it runs Windows 10 than OS 10, but it's a testament to two things: Apple's fantastic MacBook hardware, which is forward-thinking yet surprisingly agile, and Microsoft's excellent Windows software, which entices and excites with its beautiful interface, useful new features, and rock-solid user interface transitions. Either way, it bodes well for Windows 10, which is due to release in final form sometime this summer. So there you go. More good news about Windows 10.
Yeah, and I again, we hear nothing but good things coming out about Windows 10. They're not doing like I'm waiting for something, for some tire to blow, for some for some unfortunate lady to be found in the trunk of Windows 10, just something that throws a wrench into their whole plan. But no, Windows 10, people can't wait for it.
Yeah, which is a real about face for what happened with Windows 8. I mean, it's a lot of positive things coming.
People were mad. People were mad, like in the pre-releases for Windows 8. They're like, they took away our start button, and they never got over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even when they gave it back to them, they were still like, "Oh, I can't believe they did that. How could they?" Like they were like some kind of teenager who had their Game Boy or their laptop taken away. It's like, man, I can't believe my parents just took away my laptop like that. How rude of them. They were jaded. They were jaded.
Oh, there you go. All right, what's next?
We have a couple. How about how Google plans on their next stage of world domination this summer? We teased that back at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one from Popular Science, Miss Kelsey Atherton, and apparently Google to unleash robot cars on the world this summer.
Yeah.
It's a very small part of the world, and actually it's just Mountain View, California.
It looks cute. I mean, it's a cute little car.
If you put a couple of giant mouse ears and a mouse tail on that, it would look like a mouse. It really would.
I can see you driving in this car, Ben. You'd like this.
Thank you. I would barely be able to fit in it, but that's besides the point. So, yeah. So apparently for years, the car of the future has been stuck going in circles. Although Google's converted self-driving Lexuses, Lexi, have hit the road in a few select areas, the company's custom-designed, fully robotic self-driving cars have been confined to the test track. And there's only so much you can do, so much you can learn from a very contained, no real-world situation test track. But apparently, Google is getting out on the streets, the real-world streets, but only in Mountain View, California, and their cars are only allowed to go at a maximum of 25 miles per hour. People on the highway are going to hate these cars. No, they are confined to, just like as the article points out, just like fledgling little birds leaving the nest. They can only go on city streets at
Okay.
25 miles per hour.
They can't go on the highway.
Yep. And apparently they're going to lock some miles, give it some more real world testing, some more real world interaction. Because let's face it, when it's on a test track, you really don't have people, standing on the sidewalk touching your self-driving car and knowing what it's going to do when that happens. And no, I don't believe anyone will be tying their dog to the back bumper, a la Family Vacation. But
Right.
yeah, so when Google cars do go on the road, though, they'll be ready to avoid cows, and hopefully next they'll find out how to dodge the human drivers that keep crashing into them. Oh yeah, and that was a nice little statistic that self-driving cars, they've been in a few accidents, but pretty much every single one of them, they found that the person driving the other car has been at fault.
Hmm.
So, like these self-driving cars, they're very, very good at following the rules of the road more so than people. And I I'll hesitate to say that if a person was driving this, they'll have the reaction time and they'll have the reaction sense to avoid the collision or avoid the accident. But so far, not a single case has happened where a self-driving car or an automated car has been at fault for an accident. So, cool, Mountain View, congratulations. But these things, hopefully, they get the whole, construction and weather and, other scenarios that you really can't test and control for. But I really hope they get them worked out because I want to see these things not just in Mountain View, California, but all over the place. It's going to be awesome.
Well, these cars now have human safety drivers in them, and they have access.
For now.
They have a steering wheel and gas pedals, but it's a limited feature. Basically, Google designed these little rounded cars to be fully autonomous, not optionally driven. And to cement that mandate, Google plans to strip the very trappings of driving from the inside of its automobile. So that's basically it. So that's it. So the driver can stop it or turn it, but it's really not its intention. They want these cars to be fully autonomous.
Yeah, and but I think the main thing to see though is that we actually have the video playing. If you're watching our video, there you go. If you're watching our video, they have a little video that goes along with this Google self-driving car. They still have the sensor strapped to the top of the car. It's I want to say it's radar. It's some kind of sensor that kind of maps out everything within a 100-foot radius or a 300-foot radius, whatever it is. And that's the part that they're going to have to overcome before self-driving cars become viable. Because that little device, that little piece of technology sitting at the top of the car, mapping everything out, pretty sure that thing costs about $50,000. It used to be about $250,000 when they first started, but I think they've whittled the price down to about $50,000 for the little node on top of the car that maps.
Huh.
So, and that's how Google works. They have other cars, and other companies have cars that use similar but not as expensive. And of course, if they're not as expensive, they're not as accurate, which they need to overcome. So, as Google said, they're hoping by the 2019, I think they're still shooting for the 2019 self-driving car. If they can just figure out a way to get cars sensitive enough, but under the $100,000 mark, that's when we're going to start seeing these cars.
Very cool technology.
Not there yet, but hey, it's a step into the real world.
We're on our way. We're going to see it. I think we'll see it within our lifetime.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't think anyone listening to the show is planning on checking out in the next 4 years, so I would hope so. I hope all of you are around in the next 4 years.
Okay. All right, here's an interesting story from Tech Hive. I find it interesting because I have one. I was one of the first adopters of the Chromecast, little HDMI dongle that you put into your TV. It's wonderful. It really is. And evidently, according to Jared Newman, Chromecast gets 4 more TV network apps. Okay.
The $35 Chrome app, or the Chrome,
Chromecast.
the $35 Chromecast continues to be a good value purchase.
Yeah. It's getting a little more love from TV networks with new app support for CBS, Fox Now, FX Now, and HGTV Watch. Okay, that's very cool. Users can now download these apps for iOS or Android, then hit the cast button in the app to send any video to the television. That's so cool. CBS, Fox, and FX have also added Chromecast support to their website, so Chrome users who've installed the Google Cast extension can send just the video without having to mirror the entire page. I find that to be very nice too, because there's a mirroring page. There's a mirroring function that you can you see the whole screen or you can see the browser, but the Cast extension you just see the video, so it's framed within the TV rather than having other stuff around it. But it does go on to say, unfortunately, if you don't have traditional TV service, CBS is the only app worth using. Why? Well, most of its shows include several full episodes for free, and you can watch entire series and live programming with a $6 per month all-access subscription. The other three apps put nearly all their episodes behind a pay TV paywall. HGTV has a handful of free episodes, but you really have to dig around to find them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why does this matter? Well, Chromecast has come a long way, obviously. Still $35. It's the only video apps that launched were Netflix, YouTube, and Google Play, but now it's got a lot more and to it. Now it still says that we got some missing pieces here for it. One example is Sling TV, which offers more than 20 live cable channels at $20 a month.
You know, and just looking at the chart here that they have of what streaming services are compatible with what devices, because right now they're comparing the Roku to the Chromecast to the Apple TV to the Fire TV to the Android TV.
Yep.
And it looks like, just from a cursory glance, Roku, actually, the original, has the best selection.
Yeah, but did you see what's on that list of services?
What's that?
Twitch. Look at that.
Yes, Twitch is very, very popular. It has, untold amount of users, and it's very, very easy to port over. So I'm not surprised Twitch is one of them. Although I'm surprised Apple TV hasn't had integration, because it seems like in a dead tie for second place is the Chromecast, the Apple TV, and the Fire TV. Although I would say that out of all of them, just the fact that the Chromecast is half, if not a third, of the cost of the others, picking up the Roku or the Apple TV or the Fire TV, and then having a Chromecast as well, might be your best option.
You get them. You get virtually all of them then.
Yeah, because then you get some overlap, but then you'd have pretty much all of them.
Did you also notice that HBO Now, which was causing all the excitement, is only available on Apple TV?
Yes, the exclusive for HBO Now is still in effect. We're not sure when that's going to happen or when that's going to drop, but I'm sure Apple paid a huge, huge amount of money to make sure that HBO Now was an Apple exclusive.
It is. It remains an Apple exclusive. Obviously,
that won't last forever, though.
I mean, look. I mean, the exclusives never last. Look, I remember when the iPhone first came out. It was, it'll only work with AT&T. AT&T was the only one that it would work with. And now look at every single service works with iPhone. So, I think it's when the first adoption comes out, especially a high profile. HBO is extremely high profile. It's one of the highest profile ones out there. And Apple was looking to get something exclusive. HBO Now still wasn't available to anybody except you had to have a subscriber to a cable company.
Yeah, that's HBO Go.
Yeah, HBO Go. So now, and HBO Now is new enough, so Apple could zoom in and throw tons of cash at them and say, "We want you as an exclusive."
But even though it's only an Apple TV exclusive, Pretty sure you can still sign up for HBO. No, it's only through like iTunes and the Apple environment.
Yep.
But even so, the subscription numbers for HBO Now already make it a success. Like people really, really, really want the HBO content, but they didn't want to pay for that 50 to 100 to sometimes, I hate to say it, up to $200 worth of cable bills just to get a single HBO, show.
Mhm.
So as soon as they launched HBO Now for $15, people have been jumping all over that.
What is the little C in there? There's X, but there's some that have a little C. What is the little C for in that grid?
Yeah, they have a couple little C's here. I haven't read the legend on it yet,
Can't find the legend.
but yeah, I guess it's I don't know.
Well, HBO Go is supposedly if you can't get HBO Now, you can get HBO Go on all of them. It appears.
HBO Go is a very flexible app. It's its own standalone thing, but again, you have to know most of the time it's your parents that already have a paid for cable subscription with HBO, and people were kind of piggybacking off that to get HBO Go. But HBO Now is the real deal, and hopefully that comes to everyone before long.
Okay. All right. Well, there's the story. So what else? What's up?
What else? How about Craig?
Yes.
Do we go with the lighthearted one or do we go with let's go with the lighthearted one. What has been bundled onto Windows that has wasted more time than anything else? And no, it is not the operating system.
Minecraft.
No. On Windows 10, Solitaire, and sometimes even Pinball.
That's true.
They've been bundled on there, and they've been a consumer favorite as long as you were without internet access. Solitaire has been your best friend, but now apparently, guess what's getting installed onto Windows 10? Bundled with it.
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush Saga. It is now bundleware, and it ships automatically with Windows 10.
Wow.
Yeah, nice. So productivity just sank like a rock. So the article this one is from neowin.net, and Brad Sams. Apparently, they have a quote here. We're excited to be able to announce today that King will bring their game Candy Crush Saga to Windows 10. Candy Crush Saga will be automatically installed for customers that upgrade to or download 10 during the launch.
Have you played Candy Crush?
I am apparently, quote unquote, the consummate gamer. So I don't know what that means, but apparently that's what I am. No, I haven't.
I don't know. No one I know plays Candy Crush. That's probably unfair, but I just haven't found anybody get an opinion.
Maybe it's more popular in marketing than it is in real life.
Could be something to it. Not sure.
I don't know, but hopefully. So they haven't clarified what the launch means. We don't know if that's just going to be the initial 1 year upgrade to Windows for free period, or if that means every single one for the beginning or for the end of time will be shipped with Candy Crush Saga. But rest assured, if you upgrade to Windows 10 towards the beginning, you will be getting this game and learn how to waste hours of your life on this game.
Okay. All right. Candy Crush, and it's going to be included on the with Windows 10.
With Windows 10 natively. So I'm sure it's a huge win for King, because the game, if you haven't heard of it, mainly meant for touchscreen surfaces and things like that. It's a nice little mobile game, very, very addicting, very, very entertaining. Think on the edge of addictability, if that's a word, to Flappy Bird and to Angry Bird. It's very, very addictive. People seem to like it. And Fruit Ninja. I think it's closer to Fruit Ninja. And it's a freemium model, so you kind of pay like it's all free, and then you can pay and do minor purchases here and there. So let's say if 10 million PCs are upgraded to Windows 10, that's 10 million more potential customers King just got.
Wow.
So definitely a good move by King, and hey, it can't be more disappointing than Solitaire.
No, I don't think so. I go on record though. Solitaire is still my favorite game.
Well, to each their own, but it's not a very fun game anymore.
No, you don't like Solitaire. All right. Here's a story that caught my eye. You talked about was it things dropping like a rock, and everything. When we come back, we're going to talk about concrete. That's right, real concrete, but this is living concrete that can heal itself. It can fix its own cracks. This is amazing technology. We're also going to have our Computer America Winner of the Week. That's all coming up here on the Computer America Show. We'll be right back with those stories and more. Stay with us. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
You'd never hear this if it wasn't for Marconi. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time the Ryobi 18-volt hybrid work light. We love the benefits that come with LED lighting, so when we saw all the tweaks in the Ryobi P720 work light, we had to get it in for review. You can power it either by attaching an AC extension cord to its recessed plug prongs or by using a Ryobi 18-volt OnePlus battery there. Its extremely nimble stand has feet for standing, a J-hook for hanging from a rod or a hole, a mounting hole for hanging from a nail or screw head, legs shaped for hanging over studs or a fence, and a full circle swivel to help direct the light. The light spreads 1,700 lumens broadly. It's hard to measure, but it seems to be 150 to 160 degrees of beam spread. It floods an entire work area, and its 20-watt emitter is rated for 50,000 hours. Bottom line, with so many ways you can station it, 2 ways to power it, and 1,700 lumens to spread in front of it, the Ryobi P720 dual power 20-watt LED work light makes it rare indeed to have to work in the dark. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Here in the last half hour of the last show of the week, we have I'm going to call it our weekly Logitech contest winner that we have every week for that Logitech glass touchpad that we've been talking about.
We can't call the Computer America winner of the week?
No, because I believe I, myself, and a couple other people are working to get more contests so we can give away more stuff to more prizes that are going to be on a weekly basis as well. So by saying one contest is our weekly winner, that implies we will not have more than one weekly winner. So
okay, all right.
Our weekly Logitech contest winner is...
All right. What he said. Bradley Rosenthal. Bradley Rosenthal, congratulations. You are this week's Logitech winner of the week. You get that Logitech wireless rechargeable touchpad T650, valued at $80. Congratulations to you, Bradley Rosenthal. You are this week's winner. And again, you know how to win more prizes. Just go to any page on Computer America and just subscribe, and that'll get you into our contests. So there you go. All right. So Ben and I continue to do computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And this next story, I assume I have the next story. Remember, we talked about how forgiving Microsoft is going to be if you had a pirated version of Windows 10 installed on your computer.
Well, no, they're forgiving in the fact that if you had a pirated version of Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows XP, doesn't matter, a pirated version, you could upgrade to Windows 10 for free.
That's right. But if you do that, you're going to have to live with a constant reminder of your crimes. Okay. Evidently, pirated versions of the new OS will be stuck with a desktop watermark reminding you that you don't have a genuine status. You are a non-genuine human being, according to Microsoft EVP of Operating Systems, said in the blog post today. Okay. So basically, you can upgrade your pirated version of any Windows, and you can take in that Microsoft free upgrade offer to Windows 10, but it's not exactly true. Non-genuine installations, that's what we're going to call it. Non-genuine installations, will have to go through the Windows Store to upgrade to Windows 10, which was a strong hint that it would make pirates pay. He said it will offer a very attractive genuine upgrade option for pirates. I think they're going to call it the genuine upgrade for pirates.
The genuine, non-genuine upgrade path.
Yes, exactly. They say non-genuine Windows has a high risk of malware, fraud, public exposure of your personal information, higher risk for poor performance or feature malfunctions. Non-genuine Windows is not going to be supported by Microsoft or even any of their trusted partners. Okay. So with Windows 7, if you had a pirated version, you would occasionally see messages reminding you, that you have a non-genuine version. And evidently, Microsoft is going to use similar tactics. Look, let's face it, folks. They're a business. They're a company. They want you to buy their product. They don't want to give it away. Unlike Apple, who is giving away their operating system. They give it away. It's right, free. But, everybody has to do what they want to do. It said, the article says that, if you're in China, and if you go to the Windows Store in China and other Asian countries, um, they might make you pay more. So,
Yep.
so there it is.
Yep.
So there's no free ride, folks. If you want Windows 10, you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, you know, someone in our chat room actually caught this. I believe it was our first hour guest. It was Mike that actually caught this. We had a question in the chat room for you, Craig.
Oh yeah, really?
Yep. So this from JK. Just kidding. He says that I use GarageBand on a Mac computer at my job. Since I'm at work, I can't spend too much time with it. I haven't been able to find something similar for the PC, which I use at home. Do you know of any GarageBand-like program for the PC?
Nothing springs to mind. I mean, GarageBand is strictly an Apple product. They don't make a Windows version of it. Uh, I believe, I think there's a product called Loops out there.
Loops Beats.
Loops Beats, yeah,
That's it.
that I believe for the Windows environment that will work. That is sort of GarageBand S. It'll sort of, it's a lot like GarageBand, allow you to do loops and patterns and do multi-tracking, sort of which GarageBand does. So I can Google it.
Well, I would guess that Googling would, kind of result the same thing, kind of to everyone. But I guess as a Mac user, you kind of you have access to GarageBand, so you really wouldn't really know a Windows alternative. I personally never really had any use for composing my own music, or, creating my own tracks or anything like that. The only thing I've tried though is a program called FL Studio, and they have a free version out there. I believe it's unlimited free, but it comes with some caveats. It costs about $100 if you actually want to pay for it, and it seems really similar to what GarageBand does, though again, it is full feature because there is a paywall. But the free version will get you where you need to go. If you just want to play around, on it and try it, I believe Mike McNeil, again for the first hour, mentioned something called Reason.
Okay.
So, yeah, he actually mentioned a program called Reason. A couple other people in the chat room are throwing out names like Sonar, Cakewalk, and Innuendo. So, apparently there are a lot of options out there, definitely worth looking into. But I believe any of these with a free trial version will, kind of show you what these programs are capable of. Again, they're probably different on the surface, but they all do the same thing. So try to find one that's free and very, very feature rich. And then if it's something you want to explore more or try something out in more detail, go try to find a cheap but paid for version.
Okay. All right. There it is. Thanks for that catch. And
yeah, for sure. The chat room has been a little busy today. Apparently having some kind of celebrity there is causing a lot of traffic, so it got lost in the mix, but we caught it anyways.
And thanks, Jonathan, for making those suggestions. So he suggested Sonar and Cakewalk in the window.
For sure.
All right. Okay, let's continue on. We still have a few minutes more to do. We're doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. Who do we got?
Yeah, I actually liked this story. I mean to get to it. Apple, you know them. They make phones.
I've heard of them.
Okay. Well, apparently they're trying to get courts to block the sale of Radio Shack's data.
Why?
Funny story. Radio Shack, you may remember them, the ones that went bankrupt about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they sold like half their stores to, I want to say, Samsung. They sold half their physical store floor space to a company. Got rid of the rest of the stores, and they were filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. But part of Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Oh, and by the way, they filed for bankruptcy in February of this year. My bad, not a year ago. Seems like a year ago. No, but they filed in February. And when you file a Chapter 11, that means you have to sell off any remaining assets to to try to cover your debt. And apparently, one of its assets is all of their customer data. That kind of that stuff they sign up for is like, hey, would you like to sign up to be on our mailer? Hey, would you like to sign up to take the survey? Hey, would you like all that kind of stuff? They catalog it, they keep it, and they keep statistics on you. And apparently, it was sold to the highest bidder at auction, to Standard General, and they sold it for $26.2 million.
Wow.
Yeah, just for essentially people's names and addresses.
Oh.
So, the sale of customer data still needs to be approved by the bankruptcy court, and there's a hearing for that on May 20th. That's the thing that Apple wants to block, because most of that data is the data collected from purchasing Apple material. So, it was mainly the Apple material, Apple phones, Apple cables, Apple iPods, Apple, laptops, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And what they collected, or at least what they sold, were consumer names, phone numbers, mailing addresses, email addresses, and where allowed activity data. So what you did with these phones. Kind of letting people know if they use it for work, if they use it for their personal life, what have you. They sold all of that for 26.2, and apparently Apple doesn't want you to be able to do that. They think that there's some kind of Apple Radio Shack confidentiality agreement, but I mean, at this point, it's up to Radio Shack to cover its bills. So, Craig, I guess I kind of wanted your take on it. Do you think that, because let's face it, every company out there nowadays, we live in the era of big data. Everyone is collecting as much data as they can in hopes of selling it and, cataloging it and trying to see trends, trying to see patterns before others do. So in this day and age, is it okay for a company like Radio Shack to sell its data from its customers?
Well, I'm sure when people did that, there's always this little disclosure, or that's on this is when you sign up for it, that we can use this information however we want to use it.
That's true.
And so there's that little point of information. Apple obviously wants and obviously Radio Shack, they're under bankruptcy protection, but you said Chapter 11 they have creditors that they have to appease, and obviously this data is worth a lot of money, and if they can get a lot of money for it, they're going to go for it. Whether that's right or wrong, I think the people who signed up for all the Radio Shack catalogs and all the different ways that they sign on the Radio Shack website, I think they basically, it said in the where they sign up, it says that this is you relinquish any rights to privacy if that it was in the agreement, which I believe it is. So I don't know if Apple's going to have a leg to stand on this.
Yep, for sure. Also, we have another question in the chat room. This listener has an older computer and it's been crashing lately. And with any older computer, before you start thinking it's a virus or you think it's that, always check out your hardware, make sure it's not that. But worst case scenario, all computers eventually get built up with stuff. We haven't mentioned it yet, even though we are remiss to say it. This news segment brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And as to how to clean out your computer, other than with a can of compressed air, try Slimware Utilities. We use them all the time. It's a great way to just kind of do the basics without getting too technical.
Yep.
You download these programs, you run them, they're free. Don't have to worry about hey, we just found 800 viruses, now pay us $20 to remove them. None of that kind of stuff. But if your computer is running slow or just showing its age, try doing the full suite of Slimware Utilities, and hopefully that fixes something.
Yeah. Now I think she was talking. I think she has a Mac. Okay.
Slimware Utilities doesn't work on Mac?
Nope. It's a PC.
Really?
Yes. Right. Exactly.
Wow, I should know that. See,
Yeah.
as a PC user, I just assume everything works for me.
Yeah, exactly.
My bad.
That's okay. But there's a product called CCleaner for Mac. That's one of the more. It's from Piriform, and it works with the latest version of the Mac operating system. You can check it out at their website at piriform.com, or you can go to cnetdownload.com and you can get a copy of CCleaner. And I believe it does the initial cleaning without charging you, and then but if you want to keep it and use it, then there's a nominal charge for that. So that's what I would recommend, Beth.
That
So
too.
give it a check. Okay. All right.
All right. So, but yeah, no, the next story goes to you.
Oh yes. I had the next story too queued up. But let me just say here that I wanted to do that one about the living concrete, which I thought was kind of cool, but I found a different story that I thought was kind of neat, and that was the hacking United Airlines could net you 1 million award miles. Okay. Evidently, there's a big bounty program pays out frequent flyer miles. Basically, if you're into, a lot of people make a good living for discovering computer vulnerabilities. And evidently, United Airlines is looking for specific bug submissions related to its website, or hacking its planes or hitting the company with denial of service attacks. So there are many different things. So evidently, remote code execution is at the top of United Airlines list, and is the only type of vulnerability that carries a 1 million mile bounty. In other words, if you can do
1 million award miles. So yeah, if you can find one of these bugs, apparently you get 1 million miles.
That's it. Yeah.
Where could 1 million miles take you?
Any place?
I feel like I'm on a game show. Craig Grossman, where can 1 million miles take you? Well, then it can take you to Bermuda, Bahama, and Tijuana.
It was not a song.
I don't think Tijuana was in that song, but if I say Tijuana, we can't get sued. So better go with that. Yeah, but it said that hacking its planes or hitting the website with a denial of service attack, both of which will cause them huge, massive publicity in the negative variety and a giant loss of revenue. Both of those are no-nos. So don't prove to them that you can take down their website. Rather, just show them bugs. Show them that they have a security flaw. Show them they have something or other, and you too can be the proud owner of 1 million miles.
Right. You don't want to do it on the plane. You don't want to. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. Apparently, they're specifically looking for authentication bypass, brute force attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Yeah. Brute force attacks potentially, or personal identification information, disclosure, and timing attacks are all potentially worth 250,000 miles if you find those.
Mm-hmm.
So, the 1 million mile, by the way, was remote code execution. So if you can slip in some kind of malware into their website, and you can prove that you did that, then you get 1 million miles.
Yeah. We have to be careful. We can't say we're not condoning this. You need to follow the all.
No, I am.
You have to follow the rules.
No, that is the rule. If you can sneak malware into their website and you show them how you did it, you get 1 million miles. I'm completely for sharing that information.
If you don't want to be quite as cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, and third-party issues that affect United Airlines could net you 50,000 award miles each. Okay, so anyway, if this type of thing interests you, this United Airlines bug bounty program may be for you, and we just thought we would let you know about that.
Yep, very cool. 1 second, I just take care of something real quick.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
All right, perfect. Real quick. This next story. Let's see. Prosthetic electrodes return amputees the sense of touch. That was pretty cool. They are able to map the human brain, or at least made a huge first step. But instead,
yes,
I think since we don't have much time left, we're gonna go into how about ADT?
Okay. ADT, that's an alarm company.
They're an alarm company, but like anything, they are highly focused on technology. If
Yes.
you've ever seen their commercials, they turn a whole house into zeros and ones. It's crazy. I don't know how they do that.
That's the
Uh,
Pulse advertisement for Pulse, the service.
yeah. No, but yeah. Apparently, ADT hooks up with LG to compete in the budget smart home space. Article Tech Hive, Jared Newman have it up on the video screen, and apparently they don't want you to get caught sleeping on smart homes. Like they want to be involved. So so while home security giant's Pulse service already offers basic automation for certain lights, door locks, and thermostats, it's planning something bigger later this year. And apparently it includes integration with the Nest thermostat. The Nest pops up every time you talk about home automation.
Yeah, it does.
The Nest always pops up.
Well, it's very cool. I mean, I was watching a TV show and there was a Nest featured just in the movie.
Yeah.
TV show.
Very, very, very sexy looking device.
Yeah.
But apparently the ADT and LG venture, it's an all-in-one small security product.
Smart
It's
security
gonna have-
product.
Smart, yeah, smart. There you go, smart. It's gonna have a 5 megapixel camera, 1080p, 150-degree field of view, a microphone, speakers, and night vision that works up to 30 feet away. It will offer live streaming video, motion alerts, a siren, two-way talk, and environmental sensors, and it will support all of the major smart home protocols: Z-Wave, Zigbee, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, what have you.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a lot like Canary DIY home security device. Something like this sounds like just the kind of thing you want up in the corner of your front door.
Yeah.
Because two-way communication, of course, along with live streaming, things like that, the perfect thing to attach somehow to the outside, out of reach, but still being able to look out.
Yeah, Pulse is its latest version. It does require an internet connection. But as cool as Pulse is, they're already going to offer toward the end of the year an upgrade to Pulse. So, I mean, ADT has been around for a long time. I've used the ADT myself, and it's
I've been caught by ADT.
Okay.
We have the full spectrum of ADT experience.
Yes, exactly. So evidently, this story comes just a week after Comcast announced a bigger smart home push as part of its own home security system.
Everyone's trying to jump in on the smart home, connected devices train, and I guess security is just a natural place for people to try to get smarter about.
Yeah.
Because if you're really concerned about security, live streaming video and video recordings of your house. So there's nothing better than that kind of security.
Yeah.
If you're concerned.
Yes. Well, and you should be concerned. It's your home. Your home is probably one of the biggest investments you'll ever make in your life. And
what are we talking about? I went to college. I invested in myself. That's the biggest investment.
And you want to protect
children.
Exactly. Yeah, and you want to protect it. ADT. All right. Well, that's cool. Now I teased this thing here about concrete healing itself, but I don't think I'm going to do that one. The FBI, according to Engadget, we don't have time for this. We don't. We have less than 3 minutes.
We don't. It's we have about 2 minutes. Go check out Mad Max.
Yes.
And, Fury Road. That's it. Fury Road.
Mad Max Fury Road. This is.
By the way, currently, right now, I don't know if it's just the honeymoon phase or what's happening. IMDb 9.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 99%. Metacritic 90%.
Wow.
I have never seen a movie that highly rated.
Wow. Well, coming up, we're gonna have the weekend. Coming up on Monday. We're gonna have two guests. In the first hour, AVG is going to be here. Okay, antivirus company long time. Really, I mean, AVG, terrific web product. AVG3, free, excuse me, a very good antivirus product. They're going to be here on the show talking about what
90 seconds.
what they're up to. AVG is going to be here on Monday, and also in the second hour, something called Crowdy News. At Crowdy News, they believe that real-life illustrations are essential to storytelling, and using their social content curation platform, you'll be able to combine all of your preferred social network services into one single social stream.
60 seconds.
Boy, that's going to be cool. All right. So, and then, of course, if we have time, we'll bring you more computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Hey, everybody, have a great weekend. You're going to catch Mad Max if you're a Mad Max fan. I don't know.
You don't seem like you are, Craig.
No, I saw the original one with, what's his name? And Mel
You didn't
Gibson.
like it?
Yeah, that was okay. Anyway, I'm waiting for Superman versus Batman.
Nah, you can't wait for all of them, Craig.
So until tomorrow, Monday night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you Monday night.
Good night, everyone.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, buddy. Thanks again for watching our live video stream. Have a great weekend. Ben and I will see you on Monday. Same time, same station.
Yep. Night, everyone.
Bye-bye.